Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Asked data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
Thank you very much. Just going to pour a drink. Won't be very long. Hello, yes. Thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate you can be elsewhere, so thanks so much for being here. As Sarah mentioned, I'm Ehab Aboud, Principal Solution Engineer from the Purple People. You've probably seen us all over the place. There's a few at the back, a few at the front. I'm also an aviation geek and EV head, but I'm also Google Business Profile product expert, recently turned gold, so very, very happy about that. A little bit of housekeeping first and foremost. I don't think it's going to be very, very hilarious. It was just a great idea between me and my marketing colleague here. So please just really, really lower those bars all the way down to the floor. There are no intentions of this being funny, but hopefully you'll get something out of it at least. So I know it's mainly about Google in this particular track. This logo is not a Google logo. I'm very, very sorry, but I will add a little bit of that at the end. This is how I'm going to structure the tips. So we're going to have a bit of Google, a bit of local pages, and then a bit of Apple at the end as well. Also, you'll see in the corners around here, maybe down there, when the tips come up, that I'm going to be crediting the authors or whoever's given me these tips. I've asked people in the industry to give me these tips. And that's a little bit of a jab towards some of the companies who are not crediting sources. So I believe in crediting sources, so you'll see exactly all of them. Some of them may have come from me, and that generally was me, and I'm not stealing someone else's idea, but just thought I'd let you know. First things first, AI overwhelm. It's a real thing. I don't know about you folks, but in the last couple of weeks, I got an update on my WhatsApp saying that there's a new AI button. I love AI. I love it in my job. I love it sometimes in marketing touch points as well. Maybe it's a little bit too much. And certainly inside my WhatsApp, I don't really love it. And you see it in social media, etc. On LinkedIn, I'm seeing so many AI generated images. In the last week or so, they've started to get a little bit better with the dolls and everything, but I'm still, maybe I'm just showing my age, I'm not sure. But I do know that means a lot of people make a lot of their decisions based on AI as opposed to feeding the people and leaving the people out. And that's kind of the point of today's conversation. And to demonstrate that a little bit, you can see exactly how many algorithm updates happened with Google. This isn't specific to local, but I just wanted to sort of make a point here. If you were to survey people at the end of last year, around about December, and asked how many algorithm updates there were without looking at this sheet or looking elsewhere, you'd probably said 2024 was more than 2022 or 2023. And that's because the impact was enormous. And that's also because in 2024, Google made a lot of effort to accommodate for a lot of AI generated content, a lot of AI tools. And that's all good and well, but I think also we can help drive, conversions for businesses. We can help drive content. And I'm obviously going to focus mainly on the local side of things. So speaking about Google, everything Google's algorithm does is about trust. I'll talk about Apple later, and they sort of operate slightly differently. But absolutely everything they do is about trust. When I'm in the forums, I can see straight away if someone's been flagged for deceptive content or whatever it might be, it's because of trust. So on the left-hand side, what you'll see here is usually, this isn't everything, but usually what a member of the public, you or I, could do to suggest an edit. And when Google checks if you are a spammer, if you have a legit account, is it a burner account that you just created so that you can just do a 1-star review about a business that may be your competitor, that kind of thing. These obviously are against guidelines, and Google tries to limit those things. But then you've got all of the things that businesses do as well. And fake businesses appear all the time, and Google's trying to combat that. But it's not just about bad actors, it's also about, is this business relevant? Is this information relevant for right now? So that's where sort of I wanted to cover this piece. But now that we start the tips, so platinum product expert Claudia Tamina, CEO of Reputation Arm as well. She wanted to sort of show combining factors. We talk about ranking visibility factors all of the time, but we don't talk about combining those factors. We just think about them on their own. But on the left-hand side, you'll see this is an example for best Caesar salad near me. I'm pretty sure even the people at the front will not be able to see those words at the very top that say best Caesar salad near me, but I promise it says it. And this particular business has got 47 reviews and a ton of images. Now, 47 may be a lot in some categories. It may not be a lot in others, but I still think it's a decent chunk. Until they added a menu item that said Caesar salad, they didn't jump up, and you can see they jumped up all the way to the very, very top and then floated around that much for the whole month. But then she wanted to experiment with what happens when you remove it. So this is a lit filler service, obviously not the same business, but they added a service instead of menu, obviously, because again, they're not a hospitality business, but you can see exactly where their rankings started to drop on these 3 keywords here. Then from another product expert, he recently, I see this person as almost like a brother, Veena. He's based in India, because we both turned gold pretty much the same week. So there's a bond there. He noticed that a lot of reviews don't get accepted straight away, and they may not be accepted for a long time. And it might be because Google might have seen a signal where you probably should, you've probably delivered it a bit too quickly. So how about you delete them? You go to Google Business Profile, you go to Google Maps, click on the website, maybe visit the place, give them a call, wait a few minutes, try again. If you're not against guidelines, you might be able to get your review up. This is just a tip for everyone, but also as business owners, you might want to know this as well. This doesn't happen all of the time, but again, if you're not against guidelines, just tranquilo, as my wife says, and then you might be able to get back on. We're talking about fake businesses as well. So James Cant, he's a silver product expert. I'll be very, very surprised if he's not gold by the end of the year. He runs that business down there, something called a false competitor audit. Not a lot of people think about the landscape on Google Maps and what that means. A lot of people leave their businesses untouched. Let's say they've moved to another business, they've been fired, or whatever it might be. Sometimes there are a bunch of fake profiles that go against guidelines but have stayed there. Google last year, and this was published just a few days ago, Google last year got rid of 12 million fake businesses from Google Business Profile, which is an incredible number. But nonetheless, some still stick around. Keyword stuffers. These are all those who sort of fall under false competition. There's so many other instances of that as well, so check out his website. But this is a great way to help prop up yourself as well, because you might be competing against a fake business or a bad actor. And then I wanted to put this up here as well about sort of how to trigger suspensions as well, because sometimes we wonder why, going back to that whole point of trust, why businesses are getting suspended. For example, spam posts, spammy owners. Maybe you've hired an agency. Most agencies are great actors, but maybe you've hired an agency that might do some spam activity in other profiles. Google's going to be aware. It's going to be flagged up again. It's about trust, the trust of the account as well as the trust of the activity. But then next to this gentleman's bicep here as well is simply breathing, because recently, the last few months, it has been absolutely wild. You just think about your Google Business Profile, you might just get suspended just from that activity alone. And then I love this location spoofer. It's called Valentin.app. I've probably pronounced that horrendously. Valentine, but without the E at the end. I've searched for a burger restaurant near me. I've geocoded to Brighton. I should have probably chosen this venue specifically. And you'll see it load here. You see the blue dot. That blue dot doesn't usually appear if you put the location at the end. It also doesn't appear if you use a VPN. So this is the best way to sort of emulate a specific location, and the search from that specific location, you just see it running again here as well. And then you've got bilingual businesses. I don't even know if some people are even aware that this is a possibility, that you could put the local translation. This is a hospital in Kuwait City. And this local translation here, in fact, it's not even actually a direct translation. But nonetheless, the only way you can do that is through suggesting an edit on Google Maps. You can't do it on Google Business Profile. So if you have businesses in Spain, elsewhere, in anywhere that speaks multiple languages, you can add that into here. And then we're talking about automated calls from Google. So what Google might do sometimes, if you tick this button at the very bottom, Google's going to ring your business. Now, if you're a busy restaurant and you're not answering calls very often, if you're not going to answer those calls, Google might start thinking you're closed. And then it might start suggesting new opening hours, or even just changing them on your behalf. I've also seen a bit of a weird one with the bookings from customers. We've seen a couple of instances where it takes over from sort of open table, that kind of thing, Google's own booking functionality. That hasn't always happened. That's been raised by Claudia, I mentioned earlier, but just something to keep in mind. And I mentioned the edits earlier that Google make. Sometimes it will inform you. And how does it inform you? How do you know if Google has made an edit on your Google Business Profile? Well, you go to your Google Business Profile, you go to you hit highlight all, hit download businesses, and that pop-up will appear up there. And then you'll see include Google Updates. And then when you hit download, you'll see in column A what's up here. My colleague Collar, he is at Uberall. I asked him why or how did these changes get made by Google? What triggers it? He said, well, it could be a suggested edit. It could be Google's crawled from other sources and realized that information is a lot more relevant. And I quote, he also said, maybe it's also what the algorithm is smoking that day. He's from Amsterdam, so please forgive him. And also here as well, he's added this one too. So I think this is a business that he helps support. So part of his email address is up here, but I'll speak about that in a sec. How to check for claimed listings. So you've got the URL down here. If you go to that URL, the first item that you see is just you creating a brand new business. If you've typed down, this is Coco Chic Warehouse. But the second one is one that already exists. So maybe you're trying to add a new branch. Maybe you want to check if this branch already exists. If you click on that second one, it will take you to this item here. And that's where you can see the email address if someone already owns it. You can request access. There's documentation about requesting ownership, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. And then on the topic of ownership, if you are a primary owner, you can pass primary ownership to someone else. But also, let's say, for example, that primary ownership email address disappeared for whatever reason, or someone can't get access to it, whatever it might be. Another owner inside the list of owners can request primary ownership, and within 7 days, they can get access. And I talk about this at every Brighton SEO, but I'm talking about it again because clearly not enough people are doing it. In Brighton, a couple of people are doing it, which is great, but video is super, super important. You can see it will always appear on the second item in the carousel, which shows how much Google are valuing video. However, there have been times where they've experimented with the first item. So this is I think I searched for dog-friendly restaurant or pub near me. I'd love to take my rescue dog. This is somewhere in the north of England, and you can see they're having their wonderful dog food. And I just think it's amazing that they've got it on the front page, at the first item. One thing that we don't talk about enough, and I kind of hinted at it earlier as well, is engagement recency. So if you've got 100 photos, you've got 1,000 photos, videos as well, just mentioned, what are you going to do with those? Some people might make a mistake and say, okay, well, I've got this new project, I've got all of this content that I've brought from all over the business, I'm going to upload it on Google. Hold on for a second. Upload maybe a third of them, and then start drip feeding every week for maybe a year. What you're telling Google is that this business is relevant. This business is up to date right now. That includes replying to reviews, that includes updating opening hours, it includes everything else. But this is just a nice excuse to be able to keep updating the business. And this helps because this is a ranking factor, it's a visibility factor, and it's something that people forget. They just go, oh yeah, I've updated it, yeah, that's fine. No, it's not fine. Make sure that you're updating on a regular basis. And then a final one for Google. So Claire Carlisle, also a product expert, she made me aware of this. I'm not really showing the product or what it looks like inside Google search, but in terms of knowledge panel, if you go down to this URL here, calicube.pro, yes, they will explain to you what a KG ID is. They'll explain to you how to get on the knowledge panel. I'm personally trying to get my name on the knowledge panel. I've been rejected a couple of times by Google, so I need to figure it out. But you can see here the Brighton Centre. This is Gatwick Airport Railway Station. It could be about places, it could be about people, it could be about absolutely anything. So this is just a great way to better understand, because sometimes it's not just the info that you're seeing on knowledge panel isn't just from Google Business Profile. It's from other sources as well. And now we go to the website. So this is one of our customers, Pret, and I wanted to highlight this here because if you hover over pret.co.uk, it will show you the full URL. But sometimes, actually most times, most businesses only show the homepage. If you're a multi-location business, you shouldn't be just showing the homepage. You should be linking to the full URL like these guys have done here to this particular location. So there's a one-to-one relationship between local pages and your listing as well. And of course, you need to have that information relevant between the two, but I'll talk about that in a second. This is another customer of ours. Forgive them, this is not our choice of colouring. They've chosen this colouring here. But I wanted to show this as well because sometimes those journeys come from other places, from someone getting to the website and they've gone to a branch finder or a store locator or a restaurant finder, etc. And they'll go onto the locator and you'll see here that there are clear names, that there are CTAs here, there are filters to filter against. You can search whatever you might need to search, opening hours, the distance from you, etc. All of this is quite critical to that journey to inform the client. Again, we don't like bounce rates, and that's apparent in local as well. But the same applies to local content as well, local page content. Have rich images and videos. I didn't highlight this one, which is Gordon Ramsay making a burger on TikTok, but all of this is super important. This is a fake business called We Love Burgers. We created it ourselves, but also having identical H1 and H2 tags to your Google business profile name as well. That's really, really important. Sometimes you might be able to add the location, just make sure it's consistent everywhere else. And then you can have, payment methods, etc., to make sure people are as informed as possible. And this is another business. I think this is a fake business. If Evergreen City Bank is a real business, I'm very, very sorry. I've just called you a fake business. But nonetheless, you can see a different sort of design here as well. You can see they've also got sort of the personal bankers here, like the wealth managers, whatever it might be. Give it a bit of touch of human. Again, we're talking about feeding the humans here. If you're a restaurant, put the chef on there, or the sous chef, whoever it might be. And then, so you've updated that data on Google, you've updated it on the website, then and you've updated all of the info in the front end. And then what about in the back end in the schema? Remember to choose a local business schema, any of the sub schemas like fast food, restaurant here. That's super, super critical because some people update the Google side of things, they update the local page, and then they forget to update the structured data, and then Google gets a little bit confused and goes, okay, what's going on here? And you're not necessarily going to be penalized, but you're definitely not going to be rewarded for consistency because you've just shot yourself in the foot. And this is probably aging me. It's one of my favorite songs. Forgot about Dre. If I'm getting a lot of blank faces, I'm going to move on, no problem. And one of my colleagues, Christian Hustle, is probably one of the best SEOs I know, and I may be offending a lot of people in this room, so I'm very, very sorry. He's based out in Austin, Texas, and he basically had a car accident and needed to get his car fixed. So he called Classic Collision, and this is inside the phone app, by the way. This isn't inside Apple Maps, but you see how rich this information is being fed by Apple at the moment, and they're feeding it elsewhere as well. We've got a friend and representative from Apple in our booth today and tomorrow. You can ask questions about Apple. I don't know what I can say, but they're definitely making that experience a lot richer considering their vertical integration. Just quickly with regards to Apple and iPhones, can I just get a quick show of hands of how many people here have an iPhone on them right now? I'm not trying to mug you, I promise. Wow, that's a lot. And if you can keep your hands up if you use Apple Maps instead of Google Maps. Statistically, you are the people who are the most engaging and can provide the most profit to a business. And this has been shown from studies by IBM and a few others as well. So with that thought in mind, always consider Apple Business Connect. Do not leave that out. If Google is overwhelming you, well, obviously you've got businesses that can help you with that, but again, think about Apple Business Connect. And then you can have rich information in Apple Showcases as well, talking about that engagement. This here is a company called Hearing Life. Unfortunately, I didn't send out enough examples on here. But that more info button can send into sort of deep links into apps, into all sorts of other stuff as well. And you can also always suggest to Apple, and they're really, really keen on changing these things too, so just keep that in mind. And then final tip, back to my colleague Collar again. On the left-hand side is Nando's, and you'll see right in the middle that it's asking you to rate the business. You also see at the very, very bottom, some of you at the back won't see, I'm very, very sorry, it says TripAdvisor. And that's who the suppliers, third-party suppliers of images. Why? It's because nobody's rated this place on Apple Maps and nobody's given photos to Apple Maps. So Apple partners with other businesses to provide this information. But Suit Supply have their own. Suit Supply is one of our customers. We work with them. You can see how many ratings they've got. This is what it looks like if you dig in a little bit deeper as well. On the left-hand side, you've got TripAdvisor. Again, that's Nando's. It's showing all of the ratings, etc. The reviews, I should say. But Apple have got the ratings section here, and you can see exactly how broken down it is. And I believe for different businesses, it might show something slightly different. Please do not quote me on that and have a go at Bertrand on our booth. Because of that, I may have just told you a lie. I've given you a lot of information now. I'm very, very sorry. If you want some cheat sheets, They are up here. If you want to have a chat with me, I will be at the booth. Follow the purple people. The cheat sheets, they're all over. I think they're in 3 different sections as well. So if you want to just focus on Google, Apple, etc., that kind of thing. Have an argument with me on LinkedIn as well. Let's have a chat about this. And if your experiences are different, I'm really, really keen to see when things change, because sometimes we don't get told. And on that note, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Demand sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.